Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everybody's ready for a little bit of English. First of all, that is a picture. How many of you have taken a selfie? Raise your hand. I tried to make that trend. It's called a Backie, but it didn't really trend. But first, before we get started, I do want to take a selfie of this audience. So, stand up. Stand up, you've been sitting. I want you to all stand up. Now you have to lean in, because I can't get everybody. Okay, now at least I have your attention for the next 19 minutes. I'm going to try to speak as I can. First of all, I'd like to really thank Yandex for having us here. Spasiba, thank you very much. A very important partner to Philips. And I think you all rock. So thanks for coming out here today. Hopefully my translation from Google was accurate. And I'll get on Yandex next, but I couldn't really search in Russian because I can't do the characters. Let's talk to you a little bit about how the world in digital and the speed of change is only accelerating everything that's happening in the world. How many people are in the world? About 7 billion? Look at this. Everybody is connected, either on the internet, in social media, on mobile devices. Soon the whole world will be connected. It's absolutely staggering. And this has all happened in a lot of you are quite young, your generation. I'm old. I'm really old. But I try to pretend to be young. So a lot is changing. And the world actually has to grapple with a lot of these changes. Smartphones gave us access to the whole world. But has anybody seen in some cities, and especially in China, they have to put lights so people don't walk into traffic and get hit by cars, because everybody walks around like this, right? And you'll get hit. So this is the new reality. Our phones track and inform us anywhere, anytime. But as you're well aware, in the rest of Europe, we just implemented a thing called GDPR to protect people's privacy and data. Data is the new oil of the world. In 60 seconds, this is what's happening in the world. And you don't see Yandex in here. I'm sorry about that. I didn't have a slide that had the Yandex data. But my head hurts from how much is happening. And Yandex wasn't in here because this is what I was doing late last night, seeing the best view of your city from the top of this new tower. If you haven't been up there, it's absolutely stunning. And I'd encourage you to go on a Monday night because it's not so crowded. It was really amazing. So what's happening with this disruption? Now we have, Uber delivery disrupting everything and self-driving cars. But who's going to take care of the driver's rights and taxes when maybe Uber doesn't recognize them as employees? And we see laws changing in a lot of the world because of this. What are we going to do when millions of connected cars and a sharing economy are driving around? Who owns and maintains this? What happens if there's an accident? Who's responsible in a self-driving car? We have to change regulations. This whole world is changing because of this. So it's a really amazing time to be living. And if you look at things like Airbnb, and I'm not sure exactly what your equivalent here is in Russia, but in the space of 4 years, more rooms and houses than the largest hotel chains in the world combined. In Amsterdam, where I come from and where I live, they actually have implemented new laws, and you cannot rent your house for more than 30 days in a calendar year. Because everybody knows the sound of a suitcase going down a brick road, those wheelies, clack, 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 clack. That's all you hear in our city is from tourists going up and down the streets. So regulations are changing. And the potential of AI, and I'm going to talk about this in a few minutes. So, what about robots? I love robots. I can't wait for robots. I can't wait for them to do things in my house. The only thing I am concerned about is I just don't want them to take my job. So here's an example of, I think, something that's really quite amazing that's happening. How many people are, aware of customer service jobs? You go online, or in the old days, like your parents, they would phone a phone number, and somebody would sit on the other end of the phone and help you. This is all being automated. Do you know how many millions of jobs worldwide are in contact centers? And I'm not saying they're all going to go away, but things will become automated. And that will displace people's jobs. So we have to think about that. It's a complicated world, and I saw this slide before of this ecosystem. You as a customer don't just watch a TV commercial and go buy something anymore. You go to websites, you go on review sites, you go on social media and on Yandex. Then you make your decision. This is what's changing for big brands like us. We have to be everywhere you are going, and that's hard. So, how you doing today? You feeling okay? I know everybody's sitting on their phone. Do you have one or two in your hands? You're texting, you're tweeting, you're WhatsApping, you're barely paying attention to me, I know, because you're too busy talking to your friends and family and whatever, or talking about me, which, since I only know the word spasiba, it doesn't really matter what you say about me, I'm just going to say thank you. So, do you adopt or do you disrupt? Do you follow or you lead? And these are all, I think, important words, for any company or any person. The world is moving at such a fast pace. I always tell my children, you're not going to be competing against a kid sitting next to you in school. You'll probably be competing against a robot, which is very scary. So let's talk a little bit about Philips in Russia and why I'm proud to be here today. And for 120 years, we have been delivering innovation from one of the largest orders which put Philips on the map to supply lamps to the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg in 1898. Amazing. Through to everything we're doing today. And you see some of our sub-brands over there. And how many people have heard of Avent, our mother and child care business? Okay, well then you weren't raised properly, or you were breastfed, so maybe that's even better than a baby bottle. But you should have been raised with Avent. So let's talk a little bit about what we've done as an innovator. And I talk about this because if you're not innovating yourself or your company, you're likely to not be around. And we always say disrupt or die in Philips, because if you're not disrupting yourself, you won't be around. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how healthcare is being disrupted and what it means to you as an individual. So what we focus on at Philips is how we disrupt ourselves to stay relevant, because if we don't, we won't be around. That's kind of our mantra. So let me show you a little bit about what we're doing about
Philips,
that.
We're leading the digital revolution that's transforming healthcare with connected solutions that empower people to manage their health and achieve better quality of life. We're bringing together information and insights to enable first-time right diagnosis with treatment that's more precise and less invasive. At Philips, we are there at every stage of care, connecting patients and providers to help predict and detect symptoms earlier and give the right preventative care. We partner with our customers to make healthcare more efficient, affordable, and personal through automating workflows and enabling personalized medication and care. We're unlocking the potential of connected health, combining our clinical expertise and consumer insights to lead the transformation of healthcare and build a healthier world. Innovation and you. Philips.
Thank you. I know it's a little bit like, it feels like a TV commercial, but I play this because one of the things that makes me so proud, and one of the reasons I work at Philips, is our mission, which is to improve the lives of 3 billion people by 2025. And there's some wonderful companies in the world that I love. A company that makes brown sugar water with the red can that has been basically around just as long as we have, but it's not helping to improve the lives of people in the world, even though I love that brand. So really proud of what Philips does and how we're trying to disrupt. So I'm going to talk you through some of the disruption we're going through and show you some examples of that, and then talk to you a little bit about healthcare. So We're moving from a world of analog products, and you had the example earlier from Yandex of the voice recognition technology that's emerging around the world. Connected propositions present new ways to monetize and create revenue. This all means we have to do marketing slightly differently, and all of it means we have to move from transactions of selling things into having one-to-one relationships with you. That's what I think everybody wants. You want to feel like an individual to a brand, and that you're connected, and it's personalized. And with data, we can do a lot. So let me talk you through some of the things we're doing. How many of you have ever had an ultrasound, a scan? You're all too young and never have injuries. Not like me, who got hit on my bike 2 weeks ago in Amsterdam and knocked off into the street. We have taken an ultrasound into an Android device, so it's the size of the palm of your hand. Imagine this in remote areas of India and Africa, where we can help people that can't get to a clinic. Amazing what can be done, from a big machine down to something in your hand, and then you can see the scan on a watch. Thank you. I talked a little bit about Avent and our mother and child care portfolio. And we have a lot of what I called analog products, from a camera to a thermometer to a scale. We have connected everything in our child care portfolio, not everything, not every baby bottle, but we've connected that in order to build a real-time platform called YouGrow, in order to help mothers and fathers look at all the data around their child, from temperature to sleep patterns, in order to build coaching services in order to help them. And that's an entirely different thing than just selling a plastic bottle. All this makes new business models for us, and that helps us move into a whole different era. And one of the things that we've done, how many guys here shave every single day? Not too many anymore. Everybody's like growing a beard, right? So this shaver on the left, the big blue one, you probably got one, when you graduated from high school or college, or you gave one to your father one Father's Day, but you only need it like a new one every 5 to 10 years. On the right, we invented a product that allows you to, trim your beard and be like a really cool guy, that you need to replace the brush head at the top. And that actually generates a way for us to have a relationship ongoing. So it totally changes the way we market and sell with our customers. So let me talk to you a little bit about what I think is happening in the world from a digital AI perspective. All of these new business models, if you aren't becoming a software, services, data, or analytics company, you probably won't be around long, because Yandex is going to eat your lunch if you don't scale with them and you build yourself businesses that are in any of these spaces. So digital innovation and new business models require new forms of skills in companies, for countries, and for people. My question is, will you pivot to stay relevant in order to keep up with all this? And I think it's a really exciting time, and roll up your sleeves and jump in. Let's talk to you about, for a few more minutes, global healthcare challenges. Some pretty staggering statistics. 1 out of 2 people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. 1 out of 2 people. That's staggering. 400 million people worldwide have diabetes, which can be managed and can be not fully treated, but can be managed. They expect 13 million health professionals lack of by 2035. Also, almost 25% of the world's population by 2050 will be 60 plus, because we're living longer. So I guess become a doctor and you'll get paid a lot of money in 2035. But these are some of the background challenges. And if you think of technology, what has technology disrupted? Music. How many people download their music? How many people download films online? A lot of media and advertising and marketing and music and telecom have all been digitized and disrupted. One of the last industries to go through what I'm calling a big disruption is in health. And digital is driving the growth of health data. From interfaces that can, how many people have a Fitbit or a monitoring watch that you count your steps, or, you're looking at different things. So from all of this world of the cloud, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, sensors, we have reams of data. And that data can help us tell us something. We can build your digital twin. Is that scary? From a combination of your genomic profile, and I shouldn't say we as in Philips, I'm saying in general. If you combine your genomic profile, imaging studies, your family history, clinical and behavioral history, lab tests, and we put that all in the cloud and we mix it up, right? Put in a little milk and a little sugar, put some AI on top, boom, we get a digital twin. And we can start to see patterns and what will happen to you in the future from too much drinking, too much smoking, family illness, what you eat, how you exercise. There's so much data that we can put to work in order to improve the outcomes of people's lives. We call it ambient intelligence through connected devices integrated to the environment that can look at air quality and different things like that. Things that can recognize you and your situation, personalize it to your own individual needs, make it dynamic and responsive to you. And that is the world that we will come to live in, I think, in health. And why I think this is important is look at some of the data that we even sit on right now. And I love this word, 23 petabytes. Anyone know how what a petabyte is? Go to Yandex, Google it. Go to Yandex it. See, I'm so from the West, I always say Google, sorry. We sit on 145 billion images. That's scans, all those ultrasounds, all those scans. There's patterns in there, and those patterns can help improve people's lives. We have tracked 2.5 billion nights of sleep data. That can tell you a lot about why you're not sleeping, how you can improve your sleep. And this is only just getting started. Consumers, clinicians, hospital administrators have never had access to more data, but at the same time, it has never been harder for them to process that data. They have too much data and too little time, and that's one of the areas that we're trying to help with. Predicting life-threatening falls, cardiac arrest, sepsis to intervene, so that acute events can be avoided. That's what we're trying to do, is help prevent things like that from happening by helping consumers and hospitals and people to prevent illnesses from happening. Because that costs less than if you already end up in the hospital. Applying AI to enable integrated, personalized care anytime, anywhere to support care operations is our mission and how we're really going to help to improve things. Wireless technologies, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things will all be a part of how this world is changing. And I think if you just look at things that Yandex is doing and others are doing, this whole world will continue to converge and get better and better. So proactive and precise personalization, 24/7 holistic and coordinated, and actionable insights to help people with their health. This is our future. I think it's really exciting. So, in closing, and I did really good on time because I speak really fast, and you probably understood about half of what I said, is that I leave you with this, and I say this when I go speak at any conference where there's a lot of young people, constantly disrupt yourself. If I look at my own life and my own journey and my own careers and changes, if you're not constantly reinventing yourself and the pace of change that's happening is going to be even more exponential, always step back, reflect, try to disrupt yourself. In whatever you're doing, wherever you are, put the customer first. The customer is always first. If you put the customer first, you can solve any problem. Work hard, really hard. And I think this is the thing about digital and the space we're in. The road is never done. Just when you think you finished putting in the road, you have to build more road because things change. And so I leave you with that. And thank you so much. I'm really humbled and honored to be back in one of the most beautiful countries, especially when it's summer and there's not snow on the ground. I think I've only ever been here when it's been snowing. So this is a real pleasure. Thank you again for having me, and have a wonderful day. Спасибо.
Oh, thank you, but let's wait for a moment. Are there any questions? I don't see questions online, but okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.